It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. I am joined this week by Matt, and Ellie. Before we get into the Mailbag, just want to kick off with the machineometer. We were all 0, maybe -1 last week before the appointment of the new manager. We're recording this just the day before the FA Cup game. Where are you on the machineometer? I've gone for 1 being captain's armband and 10 being Chelsea's captain. That's obviously a reference to Vita Pereira getting the job.
I don't really know what's good and what's bad there.
Oh, Vita Pereira's bad, isn't he?
Oh, okay. So it's Vito's armband, yeah.
My managerial career is more like celebrated than his. So, do you reckon then? What are you near the 1 or the 10 on the scale?
He's gone up for me based on that rig out he had at Frank Lampard's unveiling the other day.
I was going to say that.
The turtleneck, it was straight out of the Les Roberts school of it's pretty much the exact outfit you wore for my wedding, that mate.
It wasn't far off, although my suit wasn't velvet, unfortunately. But,
I was just about to ask, was that jacket crushed velvet? I couldn't actually see it properly.
I don't think it wasn't crushed velvet, it was velvet. He's a billionaire, isn't he? He's not wearing crushed velvet.
Full on velvet. How silky did he look? Even his hair looked smooth and everything.
I know, he'd really gone all out, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That was his big day. So yeah, I'm with you on that actually. What do you reckon then? What 1 to 10, Matt?
5.
I'll have to say Jones and Barry. We've got 2.
5.5 for me.
5.5, based on the Lampard appointment and the suit.
No, based on the chairman's really important to us, and the chairman's going to be here for as long as we need him to be here.
Strange comments. He's always got to be mentioned, hasn't he?
Right.
Matt Jones, sorry.
I'll go 6. I'll give him 6 for the turtleneck. It was a bit weird though, the way they were forcing those questions into all the interviews with the players, wasn't it? Like, how about the chairman and the owner though, lads? You know, they're really good. It's like, but they even met each other. I don't really know.
Really odd, and there was definitely a hostage scene quality to the picture of the 3 of them together, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was amazing. To be fair, yeah. Bill looked a bit zoned out on that, didn't he?
What's that?
Bill looked a bit zoned out on that one, didn't he?
Oh, he did, yeah. He'd had a busy day there, clearly.
I couldn't get over Bill's eyebrows. What's happened there?
Something else, aren't they?
Bit of just for men on those Bill sleeves. Appearances. I'd say I'm on a 5. Just for the suit.
Yeah, I'll go with Matt. Barry, say 5.5.
Yeah.
It seems reasonable. Still got a lot of work to do to win us over though. But it was
He's never gonna be a 10, is he?
No. Although, props to him for breaking up with Jim White live on air. Right, we'll go into hot topics then. First one is you know the answer to this. Shout out the name of someone who scored a goal for Everton. That'll do. So the worst accent in a film or TV show?
Lukaku. The woman in, I didn't look up her name. Not that you'd know it anyway. She was in Line of Duty, and she was the Scouse woman in Line of Duty.
Chicken licking.
Awful.
It is the standard bearer for bad accents.
Remember the first time I heard it, I was just like...
they kept using it as well.
It's like, what accent's she doing?
Yeah.
Horrible. And you'd have thought Stephen Graham would have gone, it's not quite right, that.
Well, I think Stephen Graham's accent is actually worse than Martin Freeman's. I think Martin Freeman does a more convincing Scouse accent than Stephen Graham does in Line of Duty.
I've not watched that yet.
It's good. It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah, people are kicking off saying, oh, it's not representative of Liverpool. It is. It's not all Jan Butty minds and people telling jokes to each other. Feeding us around the city like every other city in the UK.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a good start because that was the one I immediately thought of. She is
dreadful.
I think she's Irish, isn't she?
She is Irish, yeah.
He filmed those scenes in Ireland because that hill they were on where you could see the city, it wasn't anywhere around. Yeah. So very strange. Loads of places they could have filmed over there. Yeah, she was the worst. Chicken licking still goes through me. Matt,
So for me, the worst accent in a film is Daniel Craig in Knives Out,
Oh,
Where-
God, yeah,
What's he
his
doing in
Foghorn
that?
Leghorn.
where he's
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to do
of
the
course.
suave Matthew McConaughey, and it's just absolutely, you just looking at him going, stop talking, stop talking. It spoiled the film a little bit because it's a really, really good film,
It's a great
Yeah.
film.
brilliant plot.
It
But
is.
every time he opened his mouth, you're like, Jesus Christ, just stop. Just
Yeah.
stop talking. And but he's got form for it as well, though, because if you watch him in Munich as well, and he's just got a terrible accent in that as well. I think he's somebody South African. But you James Bond, mate, stick to it, you're done.
He's
Yeah,
also
just
a copite, isn't he? So
Yeah, sadly,
yeah,
yeah.
a
One of them.
West Whittle copite as well. There's nothing worse. Let me tell you, it really isn't.
Hey, I like your nemesis is them, aren't they, Les?
Oh God, yeah. I've just like been in boozers with so many of them, and they just are the worst creatures. They're like the rugby fans who turn to football because it's like the thing to do. No intention of ever going to Anfield. It's a telly sport. They're just horrible. Or always give it the big one as well. Always. Just terrible creatures. Matt Jones.
Two comes to mind for me. Brad Pitt in Snatch. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
British one, and not necessarily terrible, but just really jarring. It was Leonardo DiCaprio in Blood Diamond doing South African accent. It just takes.
Accent.
I feel like it takes the entire film to get used to, and then by the time you're used to it, it's finished. It was a bit like, I don't know if this is good or just a bit overacted or why. It was just very strange and unsettling the whole way through.
It's an accent that's so easy to get wrong, and if you get it wrong, it's quite disastrous because it just sounds like you're taking the piss. I think my choice, apart from Chicken Licking, would be Carl Urban in The Boys. His Cockney is absolutely next level bad. I could wince at his Cockney accent. He's in something else. He's the fella in Thor who has the Ragnarok, who mops up the floor at the start, and he's like a baddie, but then he becomes a goodie. Anyone know? He's someone in Thor Ragnarok. He's got the same terrible accent, but in The Boys, his auntie joins in as well. His auntie comes into it at some point, and her Cockney accent's even worse than his. Just like, why even bother? Yeah, that's pretty terrible. The Boys is quite good, actually.
Did you see that video doing the rounds yesterday of Declan Rice doing that Gary Neville overlap thing?
Seen the clip about Goodison.
Yeah, he is so Cockney, isn't he? Like, I've never listened to him speak properly that much before, but
isn't he from like Surrey or something though?
yeah, but I've not watched the whole video yet. But he's walking around. Is he like somewhere in West London? I think he's walking around like some housing estates and stuff with Gary Neville. So I don't know where it's like set or whatever, but those videos are tending to be in that person's sort of hometown. But it just felt like he was sort of back in that environment, so he just gone a lot more Cockney as a result of when you heard him on the telly. Yeah,
just went dead West Ham.
Yeah, massively.
Can you imagine how bad it must be in Essex? Because there's loads of people who don't really have a Cockney accent around there, but loads will definitely put it on.
Yeah, because it's all that overflow, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be
I think
horrible,
to be actually Cockney, you've got to be born within like a mile of Bow Church, haven't you? Something like that.
Yeah, that's banging East End, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I quite like that accent now, and I really don't mind like a Essex accent either.
Yeah,
I hate it when they go like quite estuarine, like everything's dead clipped.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah. But I quite like Danny Dyer. Amazing.
Yeah. Proper geezer.
Yeah.
Can I give an honourable mention?
Go ahead.
Cameron Diaz in Gangs of New York. Absolutely shocking.
Oh, that's a great shout, actually. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the absolute world's worst Irish accent.
That leads us on to a question from Dan Vaine. Oh, quickly, just before this, Jonathon said, any Irish accent in practically anything ever.
Yeah.
That backs up your thing, Matt. Dan Vaine has asked, on the subject of Gangs of New York. Last night I watched Gangs of New York. It's littered with some truly awful accents. But if you had to choose one of the following to wear for life, which would it be? The Butcher's Stovepipe Hat or leather skullcap? Don't need any explanation. Just say one or the other if you want, or you can give an explanation. Matt Barry?
The leather skull. The leather cap, I think.
Leather cap. Is this because you could put other things on top of it?
You can, and I think it would keep your head that little bit warmer during the winter.
The shout. Matt Jones?
I think I might struggle with the skull cap a bit. So the other one.
Stovepipe Hat.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go for that one. Yeah.
Are these both in the film? I've never seen it.
Yeah. So I think he wears one under the. I think he wears a leather skullcap underneath the Stovepipe Hat. So that could be an option.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, keep your head warm and look good.
I feel like a stovepipe hat would be quite. You'd have to keep it very upright, wouldn't you? Like if you sort of were wobbling around a bit or didn't walk like a, with great posture, it would just fall off quite a lot.
Yeah.
I've Googled one. Yeah, I'd have the stove hat. I'd have that one.
I mean, you need business in a stovepipe hat, don't you?
And keep things in there as well.
Good. To keep animals in there and stuff like that.
I feel like you need a walking stick to go. You couldn't have that hat, not have the walking stick or the cane. Like if you were around with that on, you'd look a bit daft. But if you had like a cane or a walking stick, it completes the look, doesn't it?
You would definitely need a cane with like a pale handle. You could be like the Earl of Formby, dressed like that, Matt. You could just
take over.
Yeah. You wouldn't have to buy your own pints ever again if you walked into a pub wearing that. People would just be fair to your sartorial style.
I think even up here, mate, people will give you funny looks if you went into a pub with that, to be fair.
Dude, I tell you where they wouldn't, West Kirby.
Those Westworld copites again.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of eccentric people. You see, when people are affluent and they wear weird clothes, they're eccentric. When they're skint and they wear weird clothes, they're just mad.
They're a nutter, yeah.
That's the barometer, isn't it? Basically, how wealthy you are as to how weird you can dress. Yeah, there's a lot of eccentricity in West Kirby. Next one. What was the maddest Everton signing you can think of?
Are we saying the name? Well,
you can do.
Eto'o.
God, no, this fella with some style.
It was absolutely mad. I still sometimes I think about that and I'm like, that didn't happen, did it?
And you just get that goal at Burnley and think, oh my God, it did.
It was so mad. Also, James Rodriguez.
Yeah. See, now that's one where we can look at and think, did that really happen? Because literally nobody saw him.
Well, I did it.
Oh, you did, didn't you? But was that Rodriguez, though? Because he was shit, wasn't he?
It wasn't a great game of football, to be honest.
No. Well, we got humped 4-0, didn't we, on that?
Yeah.
So, it was a good day out in Manchester anyway, isn't it? So
yeah, it was great, yeah.
Eto'o's such a good shout. Like I was at that Burnley game, but it was just still one of my favourite aways I've been to. Like the team was doing pretty poor at that point, weren't they? I think it was like Martinez's second season, but yeah, just watching that fella strut his stuff that day, and score that goal in front of our fans, just ridiculous. And then he told all the players that Martinez didn't know what he was on about and they should leave. And he's probably
on like what he?
Yeah, I think he's probably himself as well. But and do you know what made it even madder? Number 5.
Yeah, what was that about?
Absolutely insane. But oh yeah, I love that. It was a great little spell.
Yeah,
I was taking the piss out of the Reds, wasn't it, for signing Ricky Lambert?
Oh God, yeah.
The song was fantastic.
It was a great song, wasn't it? The Inspired Carpet song.
Yeah, I
love it. That.
Not like something to blow up in our faces, is it like that?
That's just made me think of when they signed Andy Carroll and it came out that everyone was like, oh, I don't know who's got this over the line. Nobody knows who's confirmed this and made it happen. What was it, like 35 million quid?
35 million, yeah.
Mental.
35 million.
And he's regarded as one of the biggest flops in Premier League history, and he still scored the winner against us at Wembley.
In the semi-final, yeah.
Great.
Just nothing ever goes for us, does it? And always goes for them, seemingly at our expense.
Yeah.
What a life. Matthew, you sticking with Eto'o?
I was going to say James. That because like you said, no one saw him, but I think Eto'o is. Even I think, do you know what? When we got Lukaku permanently, that was mad because it was like we're signing one of the best young strikers in the world on a permanent deal. Yeah, it was like weird in a difference. Was the question the weirdest one or
the maddest? So I realised later on that I kind of nicked this off someone who asked the question last week, but I didn't remember that he'd asked it.
But do you remember how mad it was at the time as well?
He said the weirdest signing at Everton.
Do you remember how mad it was? Like when it was like bloody hell, we spent £28 million on a footballer.
Yeah.
Like at the time, it was like fucking hell. That's so much money for us. It was like more than double what we paid for Fellaini, wasn't it?
That was a mad one as well. Fellaini last transfer window, wasn't it? January transfer window when no one had a clue who he was.
Well, they didn't conclude till about like 2:30 in the morning, wasn't it? So everyone woke up, And it was like, what's happening?
Who's this fella?
I was like, club record signing. You're like, hang on a minute. And then, I think we signed him on the back of him playing for Standard Liège against Liverpool and having 2 Stormers against them. And then it was I think it was like 15 million at the time, which was ridiculous money for us. Yeah.
I used to love Fellaini. He was a great player.
That was awesome.
So
that was awesome.
Matt, Barry, what's your
So I think Eddie Bosnar was probably the maddest one because, like, who are you? Where are you from? How have you ended up at a Premier League club? That was astonishing.
Rodrigo Beckham falls into that category.
Li Wei Feng as well, my DK. But yeah, they were just absolutely weird ones. And I think though probably Eto'o is the one because that's just one of the greatest footballers ever, and somehow he ended up playing for us number 5.
I imagine he found it just as weird.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubts. No doubts.
As he's driving through Walton to get to the game. Okay. Jonathon also replied to this one. Said Anthony Gardner. What even was that?
That could be said about a lot of, players we've got in the team now.
Sander Westerveld. He's another one.
Salomon Rondon.
Espen Boardson.
Anthony Gardner. Anwar El-Ghazi, if he plays a game for us. Did Anthony Gardner play 1 game for us in the end?
I can't remember.
But
I don't think he did.
El-Ghazi could very much be that fella. Wasn't really wanted by the previous manager. Anyway, yeah.
That is strange.
He was Anthony Gardner in, unfortunately.
Yeah. He's cup tied as well, El-Ghazi, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
3 players got cup tied within 13 minutes at the end of the game, didn't he?
Well, Van der Beek and El-Ghazi was the same bleeding game. Can you believe that?
But the cup tied thingy as well, Jesse Lingard. Anyway, but he's another one who will be cup tied, which is a really archaic rule now. Because you've got transfer windows, you shouldn't really need the cup tied players.
No.
Binned it off in the Champions League, haven't they? No.
Yeah.
After the group stages, because Diaz can play, can't he, for them?
Of course he can.
Of course he can, yeah.
Well, they should do it for sort of quarterfinals onwards. Then I think that would be fair. If you're going to do it, in the Champions League, then you might as well apply it to domestic games as well.
Yeah, I know that's the only sort of down point about the game against Brentford, isn't it? Is that we're not going to see Van der Beek or Dele Alli.
Dele Alli's another weird signing.
Well, that's what makes me think of this question. That is so weird because that came from nowhere and was like done really quickly, but really to our advantage and Spurs' disadvantage.
I feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah,
he clearly just doesn't get on with someone at Spurs, does he?
Yeah, well, Matt, you spoke to Thingy about this, didn't you? That is lad from the Spurs podcast.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like the chairman of the Dele Alli fan club.
Yeah, he just
Pochettino thing when he left, it sort of never clicked for him again.
Yeah, he just sort of looks like someone that football's just broken, like gradually over the years. Like, I can't remember what I was saying on this week, but do you remember when like the Dele Alli wave was a thing, and it was like this face happy lad waving at the camera, and like it was like a meme for ages, and everyone was like, some people found it quite endearing, some people found it really annoying, but that was sort of like that was his thing. And now you look at him, he's like obviously grown up and matured, and that's probably part of it. But he just looks like a completely different fella, doesn't he? He's he's been chewed up and spat out a little bit by footy.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I would love us to pay the 40 million to Spurs because it means he's done well and we've done well, it would be dead funny if we didn't pay Spurs a penny and got like 30 million off Newcastle for him in summer. That would be really funny. I'd sooner he does well and we end up paying 40 million, but we'll see.
Do you think that the documentary played a big part in how he's dropped off a little bit?
Yeah, he didn't come out of it well, did he? Was it him and Danny Rose?
Danny Rose was awful, but Mourinho just tore him to pieces in the meeting. Yeah,
that wouldn't have helped, would it?
No.
But I don't know, it looks like him and Frank Lampard get on well, so we'll see. Ask us anything. We'll go to a question from Jonathon, who's answered the last 2. He said, if you could bring back your favourite Everton player of all time, but also your least favourites at the same time, who would they be? Ellie, come to you first on this.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have any... I didn't look at the questions before I came on. I'd bring back Lukaku,
Yeah, I've got
He's
him.
not my favourite of all time, but I think right now he'd be great.
People, I think that game was that Bournemouth game's been put on Twitter, hasn't it? By I think the club.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Just watching him just in that game, it's like he was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you replied, didn't you, about Ross Barkley when he put his arms up?
Oh my God, we were all sat there going.
It was because it was to the
I was
park
so
end, wasn't it?
stressed out.
Yeah, it was just like because it happened so slowly. That ball was traveling so slow.
Yeah, and the player was behind him. I was like, oh my God, I can't watch this.
The footballing gods must have been looking away when he did that, mustn't they?
Yeah.
Any Everton player before or after surely trying to do that would fall flat on the face.
100%.
What was the second part of the question?
But you had to bring back your least favourite player at the same time.
Had to. Oh my God. I don't know.
I think.
Okay, I'll have a little think.
Have a think. Have a dig round to see if you can remember a player who you really hate. I've got mine straight away. I was so burned by this fella. Matt Jones.
So mine would be Leighton Baines, who obviously would be, ideal at the moment, wouldn't he? After the one left. The least favourite player, probably by the end, it was Kevin Morales. Just every time I saw his name in the squad, or I think, when he took the ball off Leighton Baines actually and crossed Leighton Baines, it was like, that's it. You're done for me now.
I think a lot of people thought that, didn't they?
Yeah, you've gone against my favourite fella there. So yeah. But, I think getting Baines, the best version of Baines back in this team now will be worse having Kev around making penalties of everybody, because we don't really get any anyway, do we, anymore?
No, he did become the Belgian Beagle, didn't he? He did live up to that marker.
Remember when he got sent off? I don't really properly lose it the match very often, but we went to Swansea away and he got sent off later on in a 0-0 draw coming off the bench. And I just went ballistic. I was like, I remember it very vividly. But yeah, he was just turned into a bit of a tip by the end, didn't he?
Oh God, yeah. He was good at his best though. That 13-14 season, or more his last season, he was great. Matt Barry.
Probably Andrew Kanchelskis, because he was just astonishing. He was so good, and he just could spark a game off from a standstill. It was absolutely unbelievable.
He was actually another of those mad Everton signings, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That time to sign that player from that Man United team was just mental.
Yeah.
And I mean, they'd have to pay off the Russian mafia to get him.
Well,
in.
yeah, and then we couldn't register him in time for the UEFA Cup. We get the Feyenoord 1-0, very close. He would have made a difference, and we would have won the cup, obviously.
He was just such a good player, and he's probably one of the very few players we've had, world-class players we've had at their peak.
Yeah.
And he was just awesome. My least favourite player, I would probably say Aidan McGeady. It was just a travesty that man's ever played for our club. Absolute travesty.
His Celtic YouTube show reel is phenomenal, though.
It's up there with Nias's, though. Russian Player of the Year highlight reel, though, isn't it? It's just.
Oh, I'd bring Nias back. Defo in a heartbeat.
All day. I tell you what, I don't think I've celebrated goals quite like those two against Bournemouth.
Unreal.
I think mine would be Neville Southall to come back. Because, and bring my least favourite back, Nick Barmby.
That's who I just thought of, yeah.
Don't talk about him.
Bastard.
Don't talk about him.
Yeah.
Prick.
It's a little bit.
He went off and won 3 trophies with them, didn't he?
I remember watching Sports Night the night we signed him, and I was absolutely buzzing because he was such a great player. And like just under £6 million, I thought, right, what a signing that is. What a shitbag he turned out to be.
Oh,
him and the other person I just thought of, Josh King, little snide.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I didn't really mind him giving it the big one that much, to be fair, this year. He got treated a bit like shit, didn't he? But
I think the thing that I minded most was that he clearly shredded his body at Watford because he was well overweight with us, and then he was whipped his shirt off.
But he sort of went through the phases on each goal, didn't he? Like the first one he didn't celebrate, and then the second one he was like quite happy, and then the third one it was like, right, top off each side in front of the away fans. Just like he gradually got less and less restrained with each celebration as it went on.
Fuck him anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck him, yeah.
Got a similar question in from Joe. A signing that made you cry, either joining or leaving Everton. I was too old to be crying about footballers, but Nick Barmby really did do me head in. So
I don't think I've ever cried over any of them, really.
They don't deserve it. That's all.
No.
Player that they've really been upset. Let's just say upset then. Maybe crying's a bit strong. No one died.
Well, I don't know.
Have you got one, Matt? Come back here.
I was upset. I was upset when we sold Ferguson to Newcastle. That was a wounder because it was a Monday night game and we won. He wasn't playing. He was in the stands, and it was before the age of the internet and social media, really, and things like that. So you just didn't know what was happening, and then all of a sudden,
where was Ken back to save us then? Eh? Where was?
So he'd gone, and so finding out about that, it was just like, what the fuck's going on? And I'll be honest with you, I had a tear in my eye when Rooney scored against Stoke on his first game back. That was a bit.
That was great.
Oh my god, this is just scripted. This is just absolutely unreal.
Yeah. I mean, I was still agog at Davy Classen's ghost run, to be honest, to really take the Rooney goal. But
it's true.
It was
about 10 minutes later.
Bring the ghost run back.
I'm hoping so.
It was about 10 minutes later. He tried again. He just fell flat on his face, and he just absolutely died.
He was monumentally bad, wasn't he?
Oh,
I know.
I think the only time I've ever been emotional watching Everton, like actually emotional, was that 3-1 against Chelsea. Duncan Ferguson in charge.
That was great, that one.
And it was it was just being in that crowd, and it wasn't until like afterwards when you watched everything and you saw him like picking up ball boys and like kissing DCL and Tom Davis on the head and stuff, and like that's all amazing, but just being in that crowd for that was amazing.
If we can ever get back to that, that's all the crowd can do. Just but it's so difficult to get that worked up for a bog standard game when you hate the manager, especially. It just makes it that bit harder, doesn't it?
Do you know what though? When you watch that game back and you realise how well Chelsea played, because they were awesome. Like Pulisic and Kante, that game were absolutely unreal. But it was just the power of the crowd that got them through that game. And honestly, if you watch it again, when Reece James came on as well, and you just saw like what a player he's going to be.
Yeah.
And Hudson-Odoi came on at the same time, and he's just a fucking competition winner. And how he's got what he got and how he earns what he earns, fucking God knows.
Matt, any sign that made you cry?
Just thinking about games that sort of made me emotional. Probably the Southampton one at the start of this season's probably up there. Just being back in the ground.
Being back.
Yeah, true.
When Decore scored, that was amazing. Rooney's probably didn't make me cry, but I think I've told this story on here before. When he was tearing it up for England, the Euros, I got like that England, the red England kit he scored all his goals in.
Oh yeah.
I got that with Rooney 9 on the back, and then when he moved to Man United, I got my mum to iron off his name off the shirt. So I just had this England shirt with just a number 9 on the back with no name on the top of it. I was so devastated. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. God, yeah, Rooney. Now that was one that really upset me.
I think you said this before, Les, but you look back and United had us off, didn't they? For, was it 27 million?
Oh, they had our kecks down massively.
Fucking daylight robbery for
yeah. It's like Mbappe going for 50 million now.
Well, that was another Kenwright Pearler. That
was better than him.
That was another Kenwright Pearler where he said they wouldn't sell him for anything less than 50 million. Whilst he was at the tournament.
Deal.
Give him down a little bit.
I said he was the most marketable asset in world football at the time. Mm-hmm. The best teenage player, and I'm going to stick my neck out and say there's ever been, because 17-year-old Rooney was as good as anything anyone's ever done.
Yeah.
And yeah, as soon as Man United battered their eyelashes, we just folded.
Just remember his debut. He's got the hat trick, and I was like,
Fenerbahce,
yeah.
Absolute punch in the stomach. It was horrible.
I saw that goal against Newcastle the other day again, where he's arguing with the ref.
Nice.
And he just like sees the ball, just leaves the ref, volleys it, and then runs off. So good. Wasn't even concentrating and could score a goal like that. Ridiculously good player. So yeah, I'd say that was the one for me. Made me angry more than anything. Where's one from me? So
have you cried at any signings, Les?
I think the only thing I cried at was the 86 FA Cup final, which was just
fair enough.
Yeah, I probably should have been more upset with Gary Lineker even, because like I really loved him at the time, and it was 9. So that's one of the ones where you think that you might get a bit upset, but wasn't that bothered.
Was the attachment there though after just 1 year?
I mean, he was good. For that year, he was really good. But yeah, I suppose he wasn't like he's never gone into that sort of folklore with the 85 team, has he? He's never. But I mean, had we done the double, things would have been different, and he probably would have done. But the fact that we lost it to them, anyway, I might start crying out if I keep talking about it. We put onto the story by Ed McCosh. It's about the Dutch fella who's collected 3,000 shirts from around the world after being given an Everton shirt in 1997. So, what Everton shirt do you reckon it was that kicked off this fella's collection? Matt Barry?
So I replied to this one with the Materazzi 1-to-1 shirt with the upside down logo. It was a terrible shirt. Terrible shirt.
I quite like that now.
I
hated it at the time. But
it was awful.
It's the one he pictured Anthony Gordon in, didn't he?
Yeah.
And the neck with the Everton written across it.
It always reminds me of that rat John Collins as well.
Oh God, yeah. It's just 97, 98 season.
I was a fucking I hate him.
My mum used to fancy him so much.
Oh,
he was a dashing fella, to be fair.
Yeah, he was a bit of a dreamboat, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I remember when he signed Walter Smith, just like sort of talking about his 6-pack and how good his body was.
Yeah.
Which was a bit weird, but he did. I definitely didn't dream this. This was said. Yeah. It was.
He reminds me of Derek Shepherd off. He reminds me of Derek Shepherd off Grey's Anatomy. Just all fucking smiles and big teeth and perfect hair.
Mrs. Barry used to like him, didn't she, Matt? This is
I was going to say, sounds like jealousy, this.
She fucking loves him.
John Collins is a proper Everton home wrecker, isn't he, by the sounds of it? John's family fancying him.
Yeah, that's...
a few tears when he went.
What's that?
Probably would have been a few tears when he went, by the sounds of it.
I tell you what, though, the most Everton thing ever as well. First game he played for us, he was the penalty king. He didn't miss penalties. Missed one for Everton, didn't he, on his debut?
Great.
Christ.
Do you remember as well? He fucking rolled it to Bosnich as well, didn't he? It was
awful.
Awful
penalty.
It was awful.
Dreadful. But that kit you're talking about, just for context, in case anyone doesn't know or doesn't remember, it had like a band across the middle of like yellow, and it sort of gradiated down into white, which then had the sponsor's logo on it. Umbro had put the band on upside down on the top, because it gradiated from white to yellow, and the right way around on the shorts was gradiated yellow to white, I think.
But do you remember 1-to-1 had red in there on their logo as well, and they wouldn't put it on there. Yeah.
Another balls up from Umbro.
Have you seen everyone telling Dele Alli to get his red dreads cut off?
Yeah, quite bloody right.
Chill out, everyone. I'd say it was more pink anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I saw you mention about his tattoos. How good are they?
Yeah, they're amazing, yeah, the boss.
Vice City, Super Mario.
That Vice City one is really good.
Yeah.
Vice City is awesome.
As somebody who's got loads of weird tattoos as well, I was like, he's
What's
our new little alternative prince.
What's your weirdest one?
I've got a bit of sushi on my arm. There. See that? The little face on.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of sushi with a face.
A little anime sushi. Good.
Got like Hello Kitty dressed up as for Halloween.
Like that.
Yeah.
I want to dress. My cat's called Kitty.
Oh.
I want to dress her in a beret and a scarf. I reckon she'd look really good.
You do. I'm sure she won't mind that at all.
No, not at all. Have you got what are we on? What question are we on? Oh yeah, what kit do you reckon he was given?
What year did he start doing it?
Well, he was given this shirt in 1997.
Oh, I reckon yellow and black Danko one.
Oh,
it was a good shirt.
Mick Madar's Dreamboat kit, that wasn't it?
Yeah, great shirt.
with the blue shorts with the stripes on. Yeah, belter, good shout. I've still got that one. And it's huge. Matt Jones. There. I'll carry on. Ed,
just on that, the black and yellow Danker one. I went to watch us play Palace away, and we beat them 2-1 in that shirt. Sorry, Wimbledon. We went 1-0 down, but Wimbledon were playing at Selhurst Park, and I got to London, and I'm shite traveling. So we got to the train to London, and actually went on the tube, and I was heading towards Wimbledon. And I suddenly realised that Wimbledon don't play in Wimbledon anymore. So I had to make my way down to Selhurst Park.
Oh my God, it's miles away as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We got there about 10 minutes before kickoff, but I will always remember that shirt.
That would have been well out your way. Ed reckons it was the 92 salmon number. He told himself, there surely can't be a better shirt, and years of hoarding has confirmed that for him, because Annie can't stress this enough to view the man is unhinged. Clearly.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, that salmon pink's a belter.
Yeah, really nice.
Especially with the salmon pink shorts, which you couldn't buy, I think. And Water replied, Danker 95 to 97 home shirt, which was the FA Cup winning shirt.
It's a top shirt, though.
Those socks, something else.
I don't know if it's good enough to kick off an entire collection of football shirts, so.
No, maybe not.
Quite plain, isn't it?
Yeah, although the one I've gone for is plain as well. It's the 92-93 third kit. So we wore it down at Villa. There's a cracking picture of Mo Johnson wearing it. And it's just really plain white with a V-neck.
V-neck, yeah.
Plain blue shorts. It is an absolute stunner.
To me, we had one of those late 80s, but it had crisscrosses on it. Kenny Sampson.
Yeah, but it had diamonds. So the home and you'd kick me off now. The home and away kit that season had diamonds like a watermark.
Yeah.
And this white one had like a crisscross design for the diamonds. That was really good as well, though. Yeah, belters. I've just got a list of our away kits up here. I'll go down that rabbit hole. I think that's you there.
It just sounded like you were sort of. Sorry, Ellie, the dog was hassling me to go for a piss.
Telling you to go for a piss, or
but no, she saw one look at the ongoing rainstorm and decided to come straight back in. So all good.
Fair enough.
It just like you were getting lost with your thoughts then for a second. Like,
I've
got this list of kits up, and it's like just 2 or 3 seconds of dead air.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through kits from like away kits from like 1983 to like 2000. I'd recommend going on historical kits and doing it. It's good.
I did like the green. I did like the green away we had 2017.
Yeah, the Southampton kit.
Yeah.
Will Sliney did a cartoon for that, didn't he? Did the comic strip for it in the launch.
Yeah.
That was the Aruna Kone left wing game, wasn't it?
Oh, that cross he put in for the header.
I was like, right, he played on the right, actually.
Was it
the right,
2 or 3 assists?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
it was, wasn't it? Matt, so what do you reckon? Did you hear the question?
Yeah, the trigger a kit for.
Yeah.
I don't know if Matt was saying this one when I came back, but the yellow and black stripe one, or dark blue stripe one.
Yeah, Ellie said that as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a classic one. That yeah.
We'll have to find him and ask him. Find him on the internet and ask him.
I'm sure it'd be easy to get hold of. Let's get him on next week.
Oh my God, that's a great shout.
The last paragraph in that whole article, I was just like, he's off his head. He's a lunatic.
Oh yeah, completely.
Get him on the show and he just end up being him and Les, just having a chat.
Just talking about kids.
40 minutes, yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't make for great radio, really, would it? I'm just going through it. Dele Alli's been given number 36. Any idea why that is, anyone?
What he wore when he first got in the team at MK Dons.
Okay, fair enough. I was hoping he'd get
there might be some more appropriate numbers coming up in the summer though, mate.
You'd like to think so.
Yeah. Number 20, which he has.
So you get Mr. Redacted shirt.
Yeah. The redacted one, yeah.
Mike Blakey. But I reckon this is just for you and me, Matt, being the only ones with kids. Would you? Oh, have you infected your kids with Everton? Although Matt and Ellie will say to you, would you infect your kids with Everton?
It sounds like the start of like a public service announcement. That have you infected your kids with Everton?
Parents of the United Kingdom, have you infected your children with Everton?
Global pandemic of Everton. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to.
I'm like what, a third or fourth generation Evertonian. You can't be stopping that, can you?
No, Flynn, my eldest boy, he's a season ticket holder with me, so he's but I do think though, I do think he sees himself more as a bit of a moral, a bit of a emotional crutch for me though. So the states you see me getting at games. So I think he's more a bit of a carer for me, but he'll get there. He'll get there. I think eventually he'll be absolutely fully indoctrinated.
Yeah, I mean the thing I've always found with mine is that as shit as it is, the alternative just doesn't bear thinking about.
Yeah,
them hate the idea of supporting them. It just does not compute with them. And their mum's whole family are season tickets holding Reds as well. There was a really strong possibility that they could have gone to the dark side, but they properly embrace Everton's shitness. It's great.
I think the other thing for Flynn as well is that like most of his mates in school, they support the Shite and Chelsea and United and things like that. And when he has PE and he's got his shirt on, they're all giving him shit, and he just flashes his phone, shows the season ticket. Do you know what that is, lads? And they're all like, where's your? And he gives a proper to you. Where's your season ticket? Your fucking Sky remote, is it? And he proper goes all in on them. but I think the other thing as well is because we travel a bit to get to the game as well. There, it's just a proper day out, just me and him as well. And it's just a going to the game is amazing, but I think it's just helps us a bit more bonding as well, because I do crazy hours in work, and I probably don't see the kids as much as I should do. But it's just all part of a bit of a day out for us, and then the football is just the icing on the cake, really. Yeah,
as someone who lives 8 miles from Goodison and most of the time can't be arsed going, even that seems too far. How do you sort of like get up for going to like a game that you just can't be arsed going to? Those games that it feels like an obligation.
Yeah.
It does the fact that you're traveling a bit further and making a bit of a day of it. Do you reckon that helps?
It does. I mean, the earliest I've left for a game was 4:30 in the morning, and that was that was the New Year's Day game against Leicester.
Because I'm just thinking, I live in Manchester, which isn't that, it's half an hour on the train. Yeah. But even so, like, I've got to leave mine at 10 a.m. tomorrow to meet my dad at midday. My dad, who's not an Everton fan, but has got a season ticket. And I'm just like, I didn't bother going to like the midweek ones, because getting to Liverpool, going to Goodison, and then getting all the way back again, it's just like
that's what I'm saying. That's 1:30 in the morning was the Leicester game, the New Year's Day game, and we were just awful, and it was a horrible game. Of Michael Keane had one of his Michael Keane moments, and we lost 1-0, and that was just a long drive home. That was hard work.
Made a very early decision to swear off that game. As soon as I saw it New Year's Day, I was like, nah.
And the longest evening night I've had was, remember when we played Benfica in the UEFA Cup?
Yeah.
And I got home at 5:30 in the morning because of roadworks. On the way back, that was hard work. And I had work as well. So I had to be in work for 9. So that was hard work. But you do it, don't you? That's what you do. It is what it is.
You should got to see Angel Di Maria, mate, anyway.
I know. I just remember Pablo Aimar coming off the bench thinking, and we were 2-0 down at that point, thinking, oh my God, this is just so bad.
Matt?
I don't know, really. I suppose it sort of teaches yourself not to take it all too seriously, does it? I feel like we can sort of take the piss out of ourselves more than them. Like, if you say anything about remotely negative about anything to do with Liverpool online, you are inundated, aren't you?
So, oh God, yeah.
But yeah. Why not? If I've gone through it, they've got to go through it as well.
Fair enough.
It must be quite galling to have kids and then they decide that they don't want to support the team that you support.
Well, Mike, his experience is he's got a chance to break the cycle of misery, he said. So his 4-year-old daughter's a cop-out.
Ugh.
I think his missus is. So they've just had another baby. So basically, he can mould this baby to whatever football team he wants it to support. But he looks at her face and thinks he's meant to protect her from pain, so he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
Although, like, my dad's from Glasgow, he's a Rangers fan, and we had Rangers season tickets till I was about 5 or 6. And then me and my brother were like, nah. Because it's a lot of effort to get to Glasgow, but also...
It is.
Nah.
Yeah, I think
my dad must just be like, cow. Making me go to this shit every week.
Oh my God, yeah.
There, you're absolutely smashing it.
Mark Small replied to this and said, Jake supports whoever he sees on telly. This is amazing. It was Norwich last week because they played in pink on Match of the Day.
Oh, it's so cute, that.
I'm all for that. And he had a phase where he said he didn't like Everton anymore. So Mark just kept saying, neither do I. Fair. But yeah, I
based on the kit, it's like going to the Grand National spread in the paper and going, right, I like the colours of that one. I'm gonna pick that one.
That
Better, yeah.
For me, I like the colours of that one. It's invariably blue or pink. Never deviate from that. Last question. Simple answer to this one. Foxy said, going down, are we fucked, staying up and win the cup? Do you agree? Ellie?
Well, maybe not going down, certainly not winning the cup. I'm somewhere in the middle. I just want to survive it, and then we can go again next year, can't we?
I'd love to see us try and incorporate that into a song. Probably not going down. Probably not going down.
It would have to be a sort of two-sided chant where you chant at each other.
Going down, maybe. Win the cup, absolutely not.
See, this is the thing. I reckon the street end shout that question out in the park end replies like,
That would be me. That would be me at the park end going.
All the dads will be shouting back, fuck off, we're not singing.
Yeah.
The responses are paid for this sheet.
Or just a massive boo. Matt, Barry, are we going down?
Absolutely not.
Are we
And
winning the cup?
I got a theory, right? The Lampards fucking owe us big time in the FA Cup.
This is true.
It's all man done us in
Absolutely.
1980 and 2009. The Lampards owe us.
Do you know what?
I'm
I
having
had
it.
totally missed the fact that he did the same celebration. That completely passed me by until this week.
You know, they owe us. They owe us big time.
Right, you do. Matt Jones, final word to you.
Let's be positive, and these are the good times before we actually kick a ball under the new manager, and it's all potential and promise. So let's say yes, we are going to win the cup in these last few cherished hours before we actually see Everton kick a ball again.
Right.
Yeah, let's keep this excitement until 3:01 p.m. when they inevitably score.
It'll probably be when the team comes out. Oh, it's all the same fellas again.
4-4-2 with Rondon up front.
Rondon starting.
Number 10.
Somebody put a graphic out today on Twitter, and it had Rondon and Tosin starting up front.
Oh my God. Can you imagine it?
Could you imagine?
The lads have tried hard in training this week, so I thought I'd give them a start. Right, well, that's it. This week's mailbag. Oh, sorry, go on, Ellie. Go on.
I keep thinking, people are like, I just met Frank Lampard in the hotel and whatever. I'd be like, can I just say just a couple of things to you, Frank? Ignore Rondon, ignore John Joe Kenny. Please just watch a couple of matches before you put that team together, please.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody has.
Ellie, was it you who asked about Luke Garbutt to Sam Allardyce at the AGM a few years ago?
No, I wish it was.
Oh God, yeah, that was a hell of a shout, wasn't it?
I know. I think that was Sam Allardyce did it. Carlo Ancelotti, who was that as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh God, that was so embarrassing.
No wonder the club have stopped AGMs.
Yeah.
You were like the Wild West at times.
It's terrible, hasn't he? No one knows who he is.
Terrific. That's got to have made his career though now, hasn't it?
Basically. Yeah. He seems to take it in good humour.
He did. He seems to take it well. Right, that's it for Mailbag this week. Thanks to Ellie. Thanks to Matt. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in. We will catch you next week. Up the toffees.